Hey everyone, this is Zack. When we were originally recording our best and worst of the year, we thought it might be like a 30-minute segment at the end of the episode, but it actually ran so long as to constitute a whole episode of its own. So I just want to let you know that there's not a proper intro into our best and worst of this episode. This will kind of serve as the intro. But with that in mind, Ian and I really love discussing these shows and movies, and we hope you do too, okay? All right, enjoy the episode. Let's start with our worst. I'm going to start with TV, and then we'll go to movies.
Okay, so I have mine as like number 5 is better than the number 1.
Yeah, that's how I have it too.
Cool.
So, I've been talking a lot. Maybe you wanna start off the list.
Yeah,
with your worst
now,
TV shows of the year.
I think you're not gonna like my number 5.
Okay,
but I have Miss Marvel at number 5.
Oh my. Okay,
so
that's disappointing.
Yeah, here's the thing. I really like the first 4 episodes, and I think the writing gets really bad at the end. Like it maybe is one of the worst finales of a Marvel show. And
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. Like, just I think funny enough, like CGI was at that point was probably the worst I've seen Marvel as well. I don't know.
Yeah, that skeleton.
Whew,
yeah,
disintegrating. Yeah, it was just like
that wasn't
cartoony.
Good. Yeah, that was. Yeah.
And I think there were some weak points, like for me, throughout that show that, like, they set up 3 different romances, I think, with her, and none of them pay off.
3.
Yeah, I mean,
3.
You have her best friend. I can't remember his name.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have the clandestine kid.
Right.
And then you also have the masked dude who was also like, they had that beach scene, and he was kind of like, no, there was a little bit of flirtiness there.
Maybe, but there was more towards the clandestine guy and her best friend.
Sure.
And way more of those two.
Sure, there was.
But okay, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Damage Control was done pretty badly in the finale. Just kind of like cartoon villains, pretty much.
But you think that you said 4 out of 6 episodes, and those last 2 just make it to the bottom?
Look, I think obviously it's not number 1. Like, I don't think it's terrible, but like it isn't a good finale for me.
All right.
Yeah.
What's
well, I think we should go.
You want to do it that way? Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to. I didn't find 5 that I like disliked.
Yeah, I mean,
enough.
That's the thing, is like Miss Marvel. I didn't hate it, but like there were still points, right?
But so I have 4.
Okay. So I can go to my number 4.
Yeah,
if you'd
go
like.
to your 4. Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, I have Willow at the moment.
Oh God. I've not seen it, but I've heard.
I've seen about half of what's out right now. And it's not, again, this isn't a terrible show, but it's got some bad dialogue, it's got some bad writing. And I hope they do the character of Willow justice. I think there's like points where it starts to feel like there's more of a concrete story that's forming, but yeah, I just think the cast isn't exactly what I like at the moment.
Like, is there a particular reason
me,
why the cast isn't like what you want?
For the first movie, they were all younger actors, but like it was Willow, Mad Mardigan, and Shorsha, and they were all like maybe 25 at the youngest or something, and 4 of these characters are teenagers.
Okay.
Which I'm like,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, which I'm like, do we need all like this much of a young cast? But I think the adult characters really do shine at points because they are written better. And yeah, for me, Source's kids are their dialogue's written so badly. Like you would swear they're not even fantasy times.
Right.
It's
Heard that. I've heard that there's a lot of like modern day talking that.
Yeah, and it's not like Mad Mardigan was like an elegant fantasy talker guy, right? But like it worked for that character because he was like a gruff guy. Like he was rough and he was a knight. And
is that supposed to be Val Kilmer's character?
Yeah, it's Val Kilmer's character, right? But and these are his kids, but they grew up their entire lives at a castle and in court. And to me, it doesn't come off that way at all.
What are they saying? Like, what's the language that they're using?
I couldn't like pull examples, to be honest, but like it is very you just there's things you just wouldn't expect like from a fantasy element.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so my number 4. This is to be fair, most of my number of my worst, except for one.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Well, I don't know. They're all disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
I had high hopes for them. They're disappointing.
Right.
My number 4. I don't know if this is on your list, but Obi-Wan.
Oh, it's not on my list. Wow.
I was looking forward to this show so much. And the first 2 episodes, more the first one,
okay,
were so good.
The first one was great. Yeah.
The first one was great.
Mm-hmm. Second one fell off a little bit. Sure.
Yeah. This show had the potential to be so good. And you can really tell that they are on they're using the volume because it does not feel like it feels claustrophobic. It doesn't feel like it's when you look at Andor, which is, live locations. This show feels small. The story feels small.
Yeah.
The story is underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that I like about it too, which is why it's disappointing. Like I like young Leia. I don't like how often she gets kidnapped within
only twice
within a 6-episode arc.
Uh-huh.
I don't love I like the Darth Vader fight at the end, but the whole show was pretty much just to get a fight that did we really need to see again? I did the Reva character.
That's the worst part of it.
Yeah. There, the way that, Revenge of the Sith's end battle scene, fight scene goes, you're switching between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and then you're switching over to Yoda and Palpatine, and also what becomes Leia's, dad, Senator Organa, going to rescue Yoda and all these other things. There's tension. You don't know what's gonna happen. Things are exciting. We know what happens to Luke. We know Luke's we know that Uncle Lars, right? Lars and Uncle Owen, sorry. Yeah, anyways, we know that both his aunt and uncle are gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's and also the amount of gut stabs in this show that people just can walk off.
I don't think any of them are lethal. None of them kill somebody. Right. So,
but Qui-Gon gets gut stabbed and dies, and yet these
sure. Yeah.
Inquisitors don't nothing.
Your points are definitely valid. I think for me, the story that is there, mostly I really do like. I like the arc of Obi-Wan throughout it, that he's kind of regaining hope. Hope is definitely the biggest theme, by the end of episode 3, and up into episode 4. They showcase it well here. I like that. not that I love the Jedi character that comes that comes to him in episode 1, but
Right.
like, he's clearly like, you got to hide, and I can't help you. Like, I'm not the person to be helping you. And I think he has a good transition up to the end where he fully gains his abilities back. And I really do love that final scene. Like, you couldn't really have a better fight between the two, even though that's like the third instance in the show where somebody should have died and didn't.
Yeah.
But I like, like your problems. I had a big problem with Reva trying to, I think that was it for me, is that she didn't die. And I think if she had died, I would have liked her character like 10 times better. But she then didn't and tried to kill Luke for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then she was forgiven at the end. And I'm like, yeah, so she's going to be a character I'm assuming we see again, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with like anything about the actor. It's a poorly written character.
Yeah. I mean, she had a lot of potential to be really cool. Yeah. Like, I did like the reveal that she had been working against him the entire time. But to me, that made her like way more complex. And it felt like she shouldn't have just simply been like a good guy at the end, because she had been an Inquisitor for a decade at this point, like, or had been training and then been an Inquisitor, she had killed a lot of Jedi, like, and a lot of people.
Yes, I know.
So yeah, that's those. Yeah, it's a valid complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is going to surprise you again, I think, a little bit. I'm going to say Titan season 4.
I'm actually not surprised after what you told me last week. So
yeah. So Titan season 4, there have been really rough moments, I think, in it. And it's not like it's gone to the depths of what it's been in the past, but there's just really questionable writing for some of the characters. Gosh, especially with, I'll say, like, because you're not there, and I don't want to say too many spoilers. I think they handled Tim Drake really badly.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, like I won't say too much more than that. I think Superboy, as much as I like him, has been a bit of a weak spot this season. And yeah, it's moving pretty slow. I think there's been some, like, they added a character that I'm not a huge fan of. They haven't done action with Beast Boy amazingly yet. Even though it's been better, they just don't really have the budget for it. Yeah, I mean, so even though there's good points, there's equally as many bad points, I think. So
that's unfortunate to hear, because I was very excited to get up to season 4 to catch up.
I mean, this is pretty non-spoilery, but like, there's one point where they send like a group of what seems to be like hypnotized people at them, and the group seems to be like avoiding like violence, and out of nowhere, like, the new character that's added encourages like Rachel Raven to kill him, and like,
does she go by Rachel Raven?
No, I'm just like Rachel / Raven.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be funny, huh? But yeah, like, so basically, like, Raven out of nowhere just like kills this dude with a chainsaw.
What, a chainsaw?
Yeah, and you're like, okay, I thought these were not zombies and actual real people, but because if that was the case, Superboy could have just wiped them all out in like 2 minutes, because he is that strong, like,
why a chainsaw? Does she not have her powers?
Yeah. Yeah.
What a violent.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, it gets very like, yeah, gruesome at points. So there's just a lot of weak points in season 4, without going into spoilers. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my number 3, I don't think you've watched at all, is Rings of Power.
I have not watched. Wow. So that's pretty bad, huh?
It's again, it's not like the worst thing ever. It's beautiful to look at. It's just that the plot is like meandering. There's a lot of like time that they're just they're like at places and they're just doing things, and there's these subplots that like maybe will mean more in later seasons, but they're just like and they're so it's just like a plot that you're like, I've talked to other people about it, they're like,
Yeah.
I don't really know what the fuck's going on.
But I've heard there's some really good episodes in there, aren't there?
Yeah,
Or
particularly
episode 7? Am I thinking that's the right one?
like 6 or 7.
Okay.
6, I think it was 6,
Okay.
where it's like a battle episode was definitely a highlight. The first episode for me was a highlight. I know some people thought it was too slow, but it's just
Yeah, because I thought you would like that.
The thing that I
show.
don't, that's most like why it's on the list is like there was such a high budget, and
400 million
yeah,
Or
it's like
plus,
I think the most expensive show, and
ever. Yeah.
the plot wasn't really there yet. There was some characters that were just kind of like, you didn't really love any of the characters.
You're just kind of following the story because you knew what the world would become, right?
Yeah, and then they would do obvious things that like anybody who's watching the show, like for example, this is like a very minor spoiler, but like the creation of Mordor happens.
Okay.
Basically in episode 6.
That's cool.
And they do this thing where they show what the place used to be called.
Yeah.
So it's like the I forget, the Southlands. It says the Southlands, and then it burns away, and then it says Mordor. And anybody who's like a Lord of the Rings fan, it's like, yeah,
we know.
but like, and then if you're not like a Lord of the Rings fan and you're watching the show, you're like, what's Mordor?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like, why would you think I know what that is?
So that was really for like people who had seen the movies a couple times. And
the thing is, like, this is detached from the movies.
It is?
It's not.
Why
like,
would they do that?
It's like they took it's not, first of all, it's not the lore. They switched the lore up from the books.
What?
And this is so far away from the time, place of the movies.
Well, yeah, it's like 1,000 years ago, like before, right?
First of all, it's not really attached to the movies.
Sure, but it should be in the like the world should look similar.
I mean,
does it not?
I mean, it's hard for things to look similar when they're like 1,000 or thousands of years apart from each other. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know how much of the continuity feeds into the movies, but it was just a disappointing show, and you didn't really love any of the, at least I didn't really love any of the characters. The only thing that was like, it was pretty to look at, and it was nice to be like back in the world.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was just kind of disappointing. And that's why it's so high up on the list.
That is rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I would recommend people watch it if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, but it's just not, some people love it, I think, but I'm sure people love it.
I haven't heard anyone say like they hate it. So
it's just extremely disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have as much to say on my number 2, but it is How I Met Your Father.
What? That's on your number 2.
Yeah. Well,
oh my God.
I am a huge fan of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
I've watched that show like 5 times, I think. So yeah, I was semi excited to see a sequel-ish version of it. I didn't watch the entire season. And there's a reason for that. I think like the show does one good thing, and like in the first episode they kind of like lay out the I guess the twist of this show is that like by the end of the first episode she's like I met your father on this night, and she like basically she meets 3 different guys who are going to be like in the friend group on that night. And so like one of those three will be the dad, or by the end of the whole show. But the comedy is just not there.
Yeah, I saw the first episode with Ian, and that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, the Homelander meme where like he's just blank face staring at a screen.
Yeah.
It basically, the next 3 episodes, I think I watched 4 or 5 episodes, and I was just like maybe a laugh once in a while, but like, damn, it was just, yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I'm just imagining you like clenched jaw, just like to watch this fucking show.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like all these shows, I don't necessarily like hate. This one is, maybe a little close to that, but I heard it does get slightly better because I know like there is a cameo from Robin at one point. Like she has like, I guess, a good scene in it. So I never watched that part, but I guess it's not the show for me.
My number 2 is Book of Boba Fett.
Wow, you know what? That's so funny. I don't think I put that in my that came out this year. Did I forget that came out this year?
That came out this year.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean that changes things a little bit. I would wow. Okay, go on. Yeah, sorry.
All right, so yeah, Book of Boba Fett.
That's wild.
When it was teased at the end of season 2 of the Mandalorian that he was going to have his own show, I was under the impression that it was going to be like a mobster sort of like Godfather-esque, like he's gonna take on the underworld. He's gonna rule the underworld. It's gonna be badass, and it was there was none of that. There was none of that at all. He doesn't even have a good reason really that he wants to be doing it. By the end of the show, he's like, maybe we're not cut out to be doing this thing that we did for a whole show.
Right. And then they have like some family laugh together at the end. And yeah.
They're like, let's all eat this fruit that Black Chrysanthemums found. And and Fennec is his right hand is
gosh,
arguably
she's the leader.
He almost is like taking orders from he should be like taking names, and also the thing about this show is there are 2 episodes where
he doesn't have any lines.
And basically you take those 2 episodes out. Well, probably can't take them out, but if you wanted to watch The Mandalorian, you just go season 1, season 2, watch those 2 episodes. Maybe.
Well, I would say you have to watch 5, 6, and 7.
All right, you would watch. Yeah, you would watch 5, 6, and 7. No, was there 7 episodes?
There's 7 episodes. Yeah.
Okay, you watch 5, 6, and 7, and then you don't really even have to watch any of the first 4 episodes of Boba Fett.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah.
And like there's
you just kind of get that there's a fight that he has to be a part of for Boba Fett because Boba Fett helped him once.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then it's just dance with wolves in the desert with him and the Tusken Raiders. And that I like that.
That was the best part of the show on it. Well, before the Mandalorian came on.
Yeah. But everything about him and Tatooine is so lame.
Everything is I mean, I don't think he ever really does a single crime like in Tatooine. It's just he's just not the character we ever knew. And I get that his time with the Tusken Raiders is supposed to have changed him, but like his motivations almost like don't make sense. No,
they don't make sense. And that whole everything that it led up to that last episode was basically just if I was a 10-year-old, it was like what I would come up with that I think is cool.
The 2 of them going up in the jetpacks and like
him on the Rancor.
Although I think those were cool moments, probably the best moments of that episode.
They were cool, but like they didn't by the time you got there, I was just frustrated and it all meant nothing. And also the Rancor, it's like, that's cool, but wouldn't you have wanted to just get your ship and destroy the
I think we
droids
forget
that way?
that he has a remote control that he can summon his ship. So
yeah.
what the hell? Yeah.
So there's just a lot of like really frustrating things about that show. It was really disappointing. I think that was the beginning of the end for a lot of what
we didn't even mention the bikers. How bad those guys were. Holy crap.
What were they called? The I forget. They're
the primary color boys. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like they looked like they were from, I forget which like movie or show that like people were making fun of them for, but like
it didn't look like this universe.
Yeah, God,
cyberpunk, but not cyberpunk.
Anyways, but yeah, horrible. Just not good. And I don't think I think we can probably say our number one at the same time because I think I know.
Yeah, well, I am gonna say that's my 1B just because I forgot like Boba Fett is my 1B. But yeah, 1A, 3, 2, 1, She-Hulk. Yeah. Okay.
I had high hopes for this show. I actually thought this is gonna be good. Like I thought this is going to be good, and it started off good.
For the most part, I liked episode 1. Like I was willing to like give it a chance after that, even though I didn't love the character they set up of She-Hulk because she was very, to Bruce, it felt like she was very arrogant and naive of what she had just acquired. But, the rest of the show is not well written. I will say.
No, it's supposed to be funny, but it's not.
Right.
I mean, there is moments that are funny for sure, but there's not enough of them.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a courtroom drama
that doesn't have any good courtroom scenes.
Yeah, right. There maybe one that lasts like 4 minutes with Matt Murdock.
Okay.
If that. And I know you didn't even watch that episode.
Yeah. Spoiler, I did not watch half the show here. But I do know what happens. So
it was just the most disappointing.
Yeah.
The most like hard to watch sometimes. Like, why are we doing this episode where like she's like I think it was why is Titania at this wedding? And they're fighting.
Oh, I saw that scene. Yeah,
and then
that was really bad.
Like this whole thing about like her friends trying to get like these like clothes, superhero clothes for her, and then she's like, there was just so much like unneeded things, and then like the fourth wall break at the very end, was just
so wild. I mean, like
too much. Like,
you can beef like. You can break the fourth wall, like obviously like Deadpool has, but like you don't got to dismantle the entire like universe you set up.
I mean, I don't mind that as much. It's just like it was such weird decisions to like Kevin, and then he's a robot, and like it was so weird that there was so little fourth wall breaking in the way that you would think that they would do things.
It was pretty subtle at points, like not maybe subtle, but it wasn't super frequent is what
they really hardly did it. And then they had this huge fourth wall break at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, as soon as you get to the Kevin thing, and then like, they go back to like, and everything's this now.
Yeah.
And you like, were like, but don't you want to show the resolution? No. We just want to finish the episode because we made a show that like we don't know how to write like a sitcom, basically. Like there was moments where it was like I enjoyed, but there was way too like the episodes were too short.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly for some reason kind of set it up as like a sitcom-y kind of feel where, episodes didn't technically have to coincide with one another. But
then they kind of did.
Yeah. I mean, show was a mess. I think one of the parts that pissed me off the most was the Blonsky part, like the arc there, where he's a completely different character. And the really cool questions that Shang-Chi sets up, where you're like, oh, why is Wong fighting Abomination in an underground Chinese like fighting ring? And it like that is so just he can be the so lame
Sorcerer Supreme.
He just wanted to train. You couldn't train anywhere else. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Just very much a lot of weak writing. Yeah.
There was one good moment though, where Bruce like gets that call from Jennifer, and she's like talking to him about like a meal and if she should take on the case. And then he was like, I'm a completely different person now. I'm like, wink. Okay, wink, cool.
Yeah. But that's nice. Yeah.
This is actually running long.
Yeah, it is. But it is what it is, I guess, at this point, because we still have a top 5 best of shows list. But I think we can run through maybe a little faster of a pace. Yeah.
So, top 5 show for me, I think we'll try to do these a bit quicker, is For All Mankind season 3.
I don't know anything about that, honestly.
Yeah, it's basically an alternative history if the Russians got on the moon before us.
Nice.
And it basically just sets in motion and like all these different events for NASA.
Yeah.
But it also like it's like the United States has like way more emphasis on the space program.
Nice.
And every season they jump 10 years.
Oh.
So in season 3, it's the 90s.
I like that.
And it's just some of the best TV that you'll watch. It's on Apple TV and it's very, very good.
Sick. My number 5 is Ozark season 4.
Nice.
Yeah, I watched all of Ozark this year for the first time, and
me too.
That fantastic show. I do think, even though I like season 4 a lot, I think it is maybe the weakest season.
Yeah, I think so too, in a lot of ways.
I'm not sure I'd say a lot of ways. I mean, spoiler. This is a spoiler alert here. I think having Jonah do what he did at the end, I didn't love it. Like, I didn't love that he made that choice.
I get what you're. I get that.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like a Chekhov's gun situation where like it makes sense. Like they tease that so many times.
Yeah. It's just his arc didn't feel like it was going there that season.
No, it really didn't. But I think when you get to the point where the kids kind of like are like, okay, mom and dad,
like we fully get it and accept what we're in. Yeah.
It's like if we've gone in this deep where like Ruth is, it's like maybe this is the,
Yeah.
So
I get it. But yeah, overall, super strong, like I think villain for most of the season. I really like the direct connection that Marty had to Omar Navarro, and where he even went down to Mexico at one point and was like in charge of shit there.
Yeah.
That was a great part of the season.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
My number 4 is you also have not seen this. It's a damn shame. Umbrella Academy season 3.
Okay.
You might say, Zach, why is, For All Mankind season 3 below such a, comic booky, like not as serious show? It's because the characters and their interactions are so good together. And I think for me, my favorite shows are the ones where like comedy and then seriousness and all of that stuff. Like when characters make you laugh, sometimes you care about them more. And like,
sure,
when emotional shit happens to them, like it matters even more. There's just so many moments in this show where, especially this season, where it's like very heartfelt. And there's just like the plot. I was really worried that the plot wasn't going to work.
Right.
And it was going to be like, because you haven't seen the show, but basically they have like parallels of themselves that they run into.
Okay.
But they're all played by different actors. It's like a
Like
alternate universe sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just I thought it was really well done. I know other people have issues with it, but it's just so
Very
good.
well
And they're gonna end it with season 4.
Right, I've heard of that.
So I think if they end it properly, it's like
one of the best superhero shows ever. You're thinking?
Could be.
Yeah.
It's like it's just, you know, it's lighthearted, but it's also like got like serious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really good.
Nice. My number 4 is Reacher, actually. I don't think you've seen this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I really enjoyed Reacher. I think that was a really like well done, like let's drop the character of Reacher into this kind of like not backwoods, but you know, like country, small town where there's this big mystery going on, where there's, you know, kind of murder after murder happening. And I think what I liked so much from this show was Alan Ritchson's performance as Reacher.
Mm-hmm.
He plays Hawk, funny enough, on Titans.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I like him in this role so much better than Hawk.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you've seen Jack Reacher, the movie with Tom Cruise.
No.
But basically, I do like Tom Cruise's performance, but he is not what the like author had kind of presented Reacher as.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
And so he was very much this like imposing force that, you know, I think was looked at as like 6'6". And I mean, Alan Ritchson got jacked for this role, and his acting was great. I thought he came off like he absolutely knew his shit, like an ex-military guy, and a good kind of romance that was kind of introduced in that season as well. So all over really strong first season. Yeah.
That's cool. I guess I'll have to check that one out.
It might not be for you, but it
might be.
I think it's a really good mystery of a show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one's on your list. I'm assuming it is, but number 3 is Peacemaker.
It is. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Again, similar to Umbrella Academy, it's like a very weird show in a lot of ways, but it has that like we're a family and we like it's funny, but then there's these moments where it's like really emotional.
Yeah.
And the writing is incredible. The soundtrack is so good. And I think we watched every single time the intro played.
Absolutely.
Like I would not let anyone skip it.
Can't skip that intro.
That intro is probably one of the best intros of all time.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
I wanted people to do the dance. I couldn't get anybody to do the dance. But yeah, and also it really made, I think, me think that like John Cena has like gotten a lot better at acting because he really did a great job.
I was just super impressed with how much they fleshed out Peacemaker. I didn't think he would be that great and complex of a character, but he really is fantastic. Yeah.
What number is it on your list?
We can get to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's my number 3.
My number 3 is Winning Time.
Oh man, I wanted to watch that.
Yeah, I really am. I'm a big basketball fan, and I think it was just a really great arc to see, like from the beginning. Jerry Buss buys the Lakers, and then basically it follows that entire first season of the Lakers dynasty once he bought it, and they do a really good job of like focusing on different main characters. Like you would guess that like Jerry Buss, played by, oh gosh, what was his name? I'm blanking, but he's the guy from Step Brothers, John C. Reilly, I think.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He's fantastic. Everyone I think like acts really well in it. And yeah, they focused the shift on like the lead to like other main character or like other side characters multiple times throughout that first season because it is necessary. Like other people become the main characters like of the like organization almost. And it's
okay.
Yeah, it's like
That's cool.
It's really well done. Like, and yeah, I think they cast everyone so well, like for the team. Like Magic looks great. I think Kareem might be my favorite part of the entire show. So yeah, really well done.
Nice.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that came out. So now maybe that'll be the next thing I watch.
I'd recommend it for sure.
Number 2. This might be surprising to you.
Okay.
House of the Dragon.
Okay. Cool.
This was gonna be my number 1, but then I thought about what my number 1 is, and I'm like,
yeah, I don't think mine. Like your number 1's on my list.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely not.
Cool.
But yeah, this is pretty much a flawless show. Maybe definitely one of the best like seasons. Like I love this season.
Yeah.
Maybe the last 2 episodes were a little like
slow at points,
but
I really liked episode 9. Like I love seeing it fully from the Greens perspective and seeing like how they managed to get, that person in the power.
Yeah. The just everything, the writing
and the ending of episode 10 was great.
Yeah. I mean, just the VFX looks incredible. The story's incredible. I didn't think that I was going to care as much about these characters as like, I just didn't know how I was going to feel about it. I think most people were like anxious to see, and they just like completely killed it.
They killed it. I mean, and great performances from their actors, great castings to, switch out once the time jump happened.
Yeah, I know other people might have issues with the time jump, but it really worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we're going away from that. But I'm
a little sad about it.
I think it worked. Like this season needed to like show 20 years of what happened,
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, good for like the showrunners to like decide. Like, I think originally they were going to start with like episode 8. And they were like, no, we need to have all the backstory.
Yeah.
And like, we absolutely do, because I don't think there's been a character like, I think for like King Viserys.
He's the best character of that season.
He's
amazing.
I love
as flawed as he is like it's perfect.
He's such a good character.
Yeah.
I've seen so much cosplay about having that fucking mask.
Oh, it's so good.
And he was my favorite. I think he was my favorite character.
Yeah.
I'm like really sad that he's gone.
Yep.
But I'm really excited to see like where things go. Yeah, it's pretty much a flawless show for me.
I would agree. It's Game of Thrones at its peak.
Yeah, absolutely.
My number 2 is Peacemaker.
Nice.
So, we've already mentioned about Peacemaker, so I will I'll let you go into your number 1.
So my number 1 is probably the most memed show this year.
Okay.
For good reason. And it's The Boys season 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is probably the best besides House of the Dragon. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but like almost every single one of my, besides like 2 of my top 5 have been season 3s.
Oh yeah, they have been.
But yeah, this show is the best Boys season.
That's good, because season 1 was really good.
It is the best, and it's incredible. Every episode of every week, there was something to fucking talk about, and something amazing happened, and it's
nice.
There's absurd things that happen, but they all are like deeply, like almost poetic, like tragic.
Nice.
Like Shakespearean levels of like writing.
Because I did hear season 2 was weaker than season 1.
Yeah, I mean, in different ways.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. There's also things about season 2 that I think that were better than season 1. But
Okay.
they really let Anthony Starr just do
what
his
he does,
thing,
right.
and it's terrifying.
He's
He's the most
yeah.
terrifying character since I think the Joker. Because I remember being terrified of Heath Ledger's Joker.
Wow.
But yeah, no, he's definitely the and he should get an Emmy or something for this season.
Emmy would be it, right?
Huh?
The Emmy would be the award, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's if you haven't watched The Boys, it's really difficult recommending that show sometimes because I don't think it's that political of a show.
Okay.
There is because they make fun of the left and the right.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people take it like there's been a bunch of review bombings about it. But
right.
I think if you're like, open-minded, it's good.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, Jared and I, my friend Jared, who watched season 1 of The Boys as well, we were worried because, yeah, I mean, he even said that like he thinks some like that the action in that show may be some of the worst for superheroes. Which, yeah, I mean, is interesting. I think
something.
Season 1 ending is some pretty good action. It's not your traditional like action, but it's really well done. Yeah.
Get to season 3.
Okay, cool.
There's not much that you can do regarding action when you're in season 1 of The Boys, because those characters don't really have a fighting chance against
superheroes.
Yeah.
My number 1 is House of the Dragon.
Nice.
Which, I think we maybe expected.
Yeah.
But we already talked about that extensively as well. So I say we go to our worst of movies.
Yeah. So worst movies. Again, there's not too many that I thought were like that I saw that were terrible. They're just horror. Like they're just massively disappointing. So my number 5 is Don't Worry, Darling.
Okay.
I was expecting a lot out of that movie. It's just it looked very good. Unfortunately, there was so much bad press about it with so much drama behind the scenes. And it was like an interesting concept that
I think it just got messy though in like the execution.
Yeah, it's like a super interesting concept. But all the like they started to touch on things and then they never they never expanded upon them.
Right.
And then you get to the ending and you're like, this is what it was all about. And then you're like, okay, well, if you're going to make it about that, like maybe you should go a little bit deeper into it.
Yeah.
But the performances were pretty good. I know people had like issues with like Harry Styles. He wasn't bad. There was moments where he was actually like doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
There was one moment in the movie where he's in a car that he does some stuff that's most of my theater was trying to like not laugh, but like it was a questionable acting choice.
Right.
But it was just a really disappointing, like there was really cool concepts. I was actually lucky enough to see it in Hollywood at the Chinese theater like the Monday before it came out, and there was like a special preview screening, so we were in the Chinese and I got to see it for a little bit, but
nice.
And I was like, oh, this looks really good. And then I watched it and it was not. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just really disappointing. Like 2.5 stars out of 5 for me.
My number 5 is Lightyear, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I was way more positive coming out of the theater on that one because I did see the theme of like Lightyear very much parallels like the first Toy Story, where he's stuck on this planet and basically learns to love like the family he, has. And, right. But yeah, I think that one was also so disappointing because it was, like that was a thing like going into it. we knew that this was like the movie Andy had watched that made him love Buzz Lightyear.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so we were like, oh, a 90s space action movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's going to be so badass. And it was way more grounded, and I think the Zurg twist was pretty bad.
I didn't hate it as much as I think. I didn't. I was kind of cool with it, and I kind of liked
at the time
I kind of liked the more science fiction groundedness of it. But I agree with you that like that you would think that it would be more actiony. Like that was a very scientific movie, which I think was cool.
And it got really sad at points. Like
it did.
Way more sad than I thought it would be. So I give it credit for going to some places, but yeah, overall I think it was just a little bit too disappointing.
Yeah. It wasn't too high up on my list. I think I had it at like, I don't even know, 19 or something. I don't know. But my number 4 is another very disappointing movie that other people might really, I know people love that I'm curious. That, and I've had not arguments, but like, it's got to be one of the most divisive movies this year, which is Nope.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's my number 4.
Yeah, you weren't happy about that.
I was not happy. I was not happy about this movie because I very early on like started to be like, okay, maybe this isn't as horror. Okay, like that. Okay, cool. It's not as horror, but it just was because I've seen Get Out, I've seen Us, and I really like both those movies, and I was just expecting more from him. And I just thought like plot points with like Stephen Young.
Stephen Young.
Okay, yeah, his character with the monkey. There was just questionable things about his character after the fact of him having that experience.
I will say, someone debated that with me, and I think I come away getting that character more. Like, to me, the experience he had as a child where, he saw everyone get ripped to shreds in that room, but like, he also saw the monkey look straight at him and extend his hand as a friend. And he thought that he was special. That's what it was. He thought he could do it again.
But he was also, wasn't he the one that said some animals just can't be tamed?
I think he was full of BS. I think he believed that all of them could, but yeah, I agree. There's some questionable choices.
And I really didn't enjoy there was moments where like I felt there was supposed to be tension, and it was just not, I didn't feel any at all. I felt like
because you knew they were kind of safe.
Yeah. And I've also like noticed that he's been having this tendency to like slow down songs and make
some beats are just kind of predictable a little bit.
Like predictable. I didn't really feel like Keke Palmer's like character really deserved that arc at all that she had. I appreciate the fact that he tried to make like the daytime scary. I thought that was cool, but
yeah, for sure.
But ultimately, like, I just didn't really see the point of a lot of that movie. And there were some really cool things that were done. Like I like the design of the animal at the end. And though I know some people had issues with it, I actually saw like value in it. But it was just just disappointing. I expected like a better, well thought, movie. I was just very disappointed. It's a well-made movie.
Yeah.
I've seen one critic was saying like, this is, the best movie of the year or the second best movie of the year. And
I wouldn't go that far.
The shape of movies to come. And I was like,
maybe.
I don't know where you get that. I just really was waiting for the movie to be over at a certain point.
So that was your number 4? Okay. Yeah, my number 4 is the outfit.
Yeah, that's on my list, but it's not there.
It's not in your top 5 or bottom 5, I guess. Yeah.
It's not my bottom 5.
Yeah, funny enough, I do think you might dislike that movie more than me.
I do. I do.
But and I do like the first half of it a good bit. Like I know it's really slow, but like I think it does some cool things building wise, and I do love the the small set of it. Like I love the like one location aspect. I think my problem is the ending of the movie and how like convoluted, like there's just twist after twist after twist.
Yeah.
And finally it's revealed that he's like this past like mob like killer pretty much.
Yeah.
And he has like a ton of tattoos and you're like, okay, that's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the movie just unfortunately just does too much with it, and that's why it's number 4 for me.
It's my number 2.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Ian told, so we got AMC Movie Pass, and we were like,
this looks neat. Yeah.
And I was trying to be like democratic and be like, you know what, we should accept everybody's like interests, and you know, let's go see this movie. Ian wants to go see this movie. Let's go see this movie.
The trailers look good, I thought.
I thought it looked bad to begin with.
Okay.
I had no interest in watching it.
Yeah.
And I did not like it at all. Well, the funny thing is like when he is revealed to be this like
this badass.
Badass, like I was almost like, where's that movie? Like, I want that movie.
Interesting.
But
I didn't want that movie.
But
I really didn't.
It felt like a play, but like not a well written or acted play. The best acting was from the Taylor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's a great actor.
He's really good.
I did not like Dylan,
the like main dude, the young dude who was with him the whole time.
Did not like his acting.
Yeah.
It was just a boring movie. I did not like it.
Yeah.
I really, really did not like it.
Well,
and
that's fine. We both don't like it.
Yeah. But and that's okay. That's okay. You know, it made the list. I wonder where this one is for your list, because I know it's on it, but my number 3 is Morbius.
Yep, that is also on my list. Yep. I can tell you, yeah, it's at number 2 for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know what our number 1 is.
Do we both have the same one?
I bet we do. Okay. Yeah, Morbius. What's not to say about Morbius that hasn't already been said? It's just a bloodless vampire movie.
Yeah. Wow.
That Jared Leto does the same motion whenever he sucks synthetic blood every single time. He's like, he does that, and then Matt Smith and I feel bad because Matt Smith said like, I don't even know what movie we were making sometimes, and I will say that Morbius gave me that dance scene that like I love. Ironically,
it's so bad.
It's so bad, but I like it. It's so
bad.
But it's like just a bad script.
Bad script. I think it's like it, I've said it before, but like, I think you take like all the villain parts of a Spider-Man movie and then you cut out Spider-Man and that's what you have. Like, and it's not even like good villain parts. No. It's just like cool.
Yeah. Really. Yeah, you're right. It really felt like those scenes where like Spider-Man's got his own thing going on and this is like what the villain's leading up to.
Yep.
But it's just all that.
It's all that.
And
none of it's that interesting. And
and the fight scene at the end. Also, like he can like, so
he can control the bats.
Right. Which isn't too far-fetched, but the thing that I have an issue with is it's not like his body mass has changed that dramatically.
Oh, that he can fly.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
Like, and is that glowing stuff behind him just like an effect so we can show that he's flying, or is that actually happening?
I think it's like, I interpret it as like those. That's what he's seeing, and for some reason, like those like air currents can take him. Like, but flying.
It's, whatever.
Yeah. No, it's messy.
Yeah. And then his like love interest.
God, it was just
she like
so bad.
Now she's alive.
But yeah, but like there was no reason for that to ever become a love interest. They had no chemistry. It was just like, I'm your assistant and I'm attractive. So that's what we need.
And now you're very attractive.
Yeah. So, and the worst end credit scene of all time. We already talked about that. Yep.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
The worst end credit scene of all time. I think we do have the same number one. So
yeah, I mean, well, my number 3.
Okay. What's the number 3?
My number 3 is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, made it that
high.
Wow.
I think the more I sat on this movie, the more I just realized how like badly Thor himself is written.
Yeah.
I think I think like what's also super disappointing is that like, yeah, we had a lot of great like gore scenes, but he wasn't used as like nearly as much as I wanted. Like,
no,
I don't think we ever really saw him actually kill a god, like besides the first one.
No. That was
so
not a whole lot of god butchering.
Yeah, there was. They just came to the aftermath of each one. It was never like, let's do this on screen, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
definitely like
a lot
not enough show.
Yeah,
and way more tell.
Like you didn't even show like Jane become Thor. Like what is that?
Well, there was that thing where like
it shook.
Mjolnir was like reaching out to her.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
It's
like I think
I appreciate the thing that saves that movie for me is that the second half is there.
Is it better?
There's things that are not like
because like the kid fight's pretty bad.
Well, it's not as I don't dislike it as much as other people, but
yeah.
I admit that there's issues with that.
I feel like
there's like some really dope stuff that happens in the second half.
The concept of this person granting a wish is a little rough, considering like think if you know, the Avengers knew about that, right? Like would they have gone through time travel to like just do this one wish?
Yeah, wait. Yeah.
Right.
Wait. So like did Thor know about eternity granting a wish?
He should have, right? I mean, but
that's
yeah.
But then you'd have to explain like what is the extent of eternity's powers in relation to the Infinity Stones, which I don't know if that was clearly stated.
Sure, but like I don't know. A wish is a wish.
Would eternity be able to grant that?
Like granting life back to
like reversing
billions
all of
and billions.
But also like what's to say like they get that one wish and then Thanos goes, well, it would depend on what the wish is.
Right.
Like we wish that Thanos didn't have the stones. And then it's like, well, that would be a long list. Or we wish that let's reverse all the things until like 2019.
Pretty much, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
but
no, I got you. Yeah,
I agree. That's the problem of having a massive, universe.
Yeah, you just keep breaking these things you've set up.
My problem with that movie is also that he's just the butt of his own joke all the time.
Yep.
And the first half of the movie, I was watching it with our friend Ryan, and I was like, because I love Taika Waititi, but it was like, I feel like I'm watching two different movies. And the first hour, I was like, I might want to leave if this doesn't get any better. And
really?
Luckily it did.
Yeah.
Like, I think his relationship with Jane was actually very well done.
It's probably the best part of it. Yeah. I mean, even though like those first two movies with her in it, I don't like at all.
No.
I think like clearly their relationship was important, and I'm glad it was readdressed.
Yeah. And I like the compilation of them, their life together. It was nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I already said my number 2. So our number 1 is, oh wait, did you say your number 2?
Yeah, it was, what was the outfit?
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. You said, okay. Yeah, number 1 is
Jurassic
World Dominion.
This is, I actually was talking to the person I'm seeing's like roommate yesterday, and she said like she went to go see a movie at this place in Richmond.
Yeah.
And I was like, what movie did you were they playing? And she said Jurassic World. And I was, and that was I shouldn't have done that. But I really, it's a dinosaur movie with dinosaurs. And
it's not about dinosaurs.
And it wasn't about dinosaurs. And it wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun.
How do you have a movie about dinosaurs and it's not even fun?
I couldn't believe that after the last movie that this movie was just as bad.
And I didn't even see the last movie.
Yeah, the last movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
That's rough.
Which is, yeah, I mean, like,
this is definitely one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, like the way, I mean, there's so many things I can pull from this. Like the fact that this movie was set up by the fact that like dinosaurs are existing globally, and we focus on a locus plot, and and we take the main characters back to an island of dinosaurs again. Like, what are we doing? Like, did you not think this plot through at all? And on top of adding like terrible characters to the main cast, I guess focusing on the kidnapping plot of the girl they picked up in the last movie, which you don't really know anything about.
No,
but yeah, I mean, the only thing you did good was bring back the original 3. And even that, then, like the dialogue like of Sam was so bad. Like he was just terrible.
And there's like so much Chris Pratt like whoa.
Oh, every character had to like learn how to just like in the first movie they said that barely worked on the Raptors. He like trained. Like he trained those dudes, and now they work on any dinosaur, like from anybody doing the hand thing.
Yeah, and I mean it was just so boring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at one point it was like it felt like we had 10 scenes back to back to back where it was like, oh no, we're running from a dinosaur. You know, it was like
constantly running from dinosaurs.
Yeah, without really much like plot there at all,
or exciting action sequences that would like they tried to do like the raptors in the streets, and that was
they also tried to do the dinosaur
fight
fight at the end as well, which just didn't have any stakes. You're like, these two dinosaurs are just fighting in front of me, you know?
Yeah, they didn't really even build up that one that they were supposed to say was like modeled after the Joker, and I was like, modeled how? Yeah, they said like that bad dinosaur was like modeled after the Joker.
How do you model a dinosaur after the Joker?
Like I was expecting it to be this like wild, feral, just does chaotic things just to do chaotic things. And it wasn't that.
It wasn't that at all.
It didn't even look like what, it was just like, it was such a like, okay, here's, like how they had in 3, like the spine, the long beaked like Spinosaurus, I forget what it was called, that was like going up against the T-Rex. Like they always do that shit, but this time around it was just so boring and so I just don't know what they were going for.
Yeah, I mean, and to top it off, like they open and close the movie with a this now, like whatever those like video segments are called, where they're like, you you see on like Instagram or like Facebook or whatever, and it was just it was like, oh no, what are we gonna do? The world's filled with dinosaurs, and then like this movie happened, which has nothing to do with that.
No,
and then the ending closes out on another one of those videos, and they're like, well, looks like we might be able to work together, and I'm like, what? How did we get to that conclusion?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a dinosaur black market going on, and like
in the second one,
and no,
there's another one. Okay, yeah, like, you're right. They stopped all. Yeah,
and like there's still like in the first part of the movie, like this disruptive dinosaur taking down like a whole like shipping tanker or whatever.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, you're right. There had nothing about this movie changed any consequences about having dinosaurs. It would still be chaotic.
To me, like, I think where like some of these like big movies get weak is when you add like military and the government into it. But like clearly that's where this needed to go. Like you're dealing with a global threat of dinosaurs. You gotta put in the government here. Like, I don't know. It's just
like this is some like billionaire thing about like we're gonna hike up the prices, or like we're gonna have a monopoly with this enhanced growth. Like what was it, for food or for what even was the locust plot? I don't even remember.
Basically, they wanted to control like America's, or like the world's crop system, and only biosyn crops would not be affected by this locust plague.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just
funny. I remember biosyn. I can't remember how I remember that.
God.
Yeah. Well, I think we should stop thinking about our bad movies and head over to our good movies.
Yeah, maybe you want to start off.
A top 5 movies of the year. I have The Northman at number 5.
At 5?
At 5, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Northman. I think I was a little disappointed coming out of the movie on that one, because I did expect like a little bit larger of a plot. But
that's fair enough.
Plus, I expected it to be a little more grounded than it was.
I think a lot of people thought that.
But overall, I mean, I thought it was just an amazing like revenge story. And visuals and acting were great, even though it was pretty slow at one point.
At what point?
When they're like not just getting to the Iceland village, but like a little bit after that, where they're just kind of like living, and I don't know. There's not a lot going on. But yeah, overall, I think it's a really solid movie with solid visuals, and it's well done.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
Wow. Okay.
But I guess I did like it more than you, maybe. I watched that twice, I think, and
I've only seen it once. Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible in the Dolby theater, and I didn't find it slow at those moments, but because that was more of like the horror, like him becoming the like monster.
Sure.
But yeah, I thought that movie was incredible. I think a lot of people have talked about like a lot of like women that I've talked about that movie have mentioned the how much they love the like masculinity on display.
Okay.
Which I was like, you're right. Like it's not when somebody mentions like masculinity, I feel like there's like this part now that like people go to like it's a bad
like
thing.
Alpha dudes and
right. But like this movie like showed like qualities about masculinity that are like good, and also like things that like are like very like primal, and I just thought it was done really well, and the set design and the language and just. Well,
I also thought like the twist with his mom was amazing. You know, like
bro, that was
so intense
when
like,
she was gonna. Did she kiss him?
I think she did kiss him, which was just another rough point for him in his life, but
and having to kill her too. You know,
the person you thought you would be avenging or saving this entire time, you have to eventually kill is just brutal.
But it was just like and the thing is that the whole movie was laid out to you early on. Like this is the prophecy,
this is the plot,
this is exactly what happens, and it's what's going to happen. Maybe it's hard for you to understand with the language at first that that's what's happening,
right?
But then like on a second viewing I was like, oh okay, so it basically tells you. But it's still entirely, very interesting, and definitely
very interesting plot.
Yeah, very good movie. My number 5 is you're never gonna watch this in your entire life. Is Barbarian.
I might. I guess Ian, I have heard it's very horror. So
Ian,
maybe not. Yeah.
I can't see you watching this movie. It scared the shit out of me.
Oh, okay, cool. Great.
Like this is. I wanted to mention like a bunch of horror movies this year because it's been like a really great great year for horror movies. But this movie scared the shit out of me. I don't normally do that thing where you like grab somebody's arm and like start punching them. Jeez. But I was doing that.
Like,
because I was
fear,
like,
right.
I would, and there'd be like, there was a moment in the movie where like a character goes, nope. And that's like, and I was like, no. And like it was, so it was like a very aware, but also like made things horror that like are also like things that would definitely that could happen in normal life, and then there's these moments that it gets to be like really bizarre.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck is happening? But I don't know if I've ever seen a movie like it.
Like that's that intense.
There's definitely movies that are probably more intense, but it fills you with just so much terror, and you don't know what's going on, and it's just the plot thickens so much, and
Nice.
and it's written in such a way that it's like it's definitely one of the most unique movies I've ever seen. But it's I do want to see it again at some point, but I don't know how soon, because again, it was genuinely like I was like I was having a hard time at time, and that's really rare for me,
With horror movies, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, my number 4 is Glass Onion.
You saw it?
I saw it.
Nice.
Yeah. Saw it last night actually. And yeah, I thought that was such a good mystery. Like such a good murder mystery.
It's so good.
You're right. You said it last week, and I kept it with me that it was right in front of me the whole time. And I was like, bro, what am I missing? Basically. And then by the end I was like, oh my God, it was really right in front of me the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say too much, but like
language is a good,
yes.
I'll just say that.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, what?
Yeah.
You're right. Why am I dumb?
Yeah, right. And like, it makes you feel like stupid at the end. You're like, how did I miss this?
I know.
Yeah, because like, I will say for me, they did it in such a brilliant way where they pointed me away from like who the real target was. And I fully believed it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I didn't suspect this person. And yeah, I mean, you know, besides them, like the cast was amazing. Like I thought, great ensemble cast and not Harrison Ford. Wow. Yeah.
Harrison Ford in this movie.
Wow, I'm blanking on James Bond right now. Daniel Craig. I thought he was great as Blanc. And the twist that they have halfway through the movie, or maybe like more towards the end, is brilliant.
Yeah.
Just overall, great set piece. Where they're at the island, and very well done plot that could maybe be better than the first one.
Yeah. After seeing Kate Hudson's you can see the Kaylee
I could
quote.
see for sure, but I still think I like Kate Hudson better in the role.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I think she came off really naturally as like a ditzy actress.
The social commentary on display is just
yeah.
really
well done.
That movie is just below Barbarian.
Really?
Yeah.
So number 6 for you technically.
Yeah. Number 4 is The Menu.
Wow, I've heard that's very good. Yeah.
It is, spoiler, there is no cannibalism.
Good.
Which I thought there was going to be. It's not really horror in a lot of ways. It's
more of like a thriller.
It's more thriller, and it's strangely funny.
Okay.
Which I was not expecting at all.
Cool.
There's
might be my kind of movie.
Yeah, you would like it. It's very good.
Nice.
The acting's incredible. Ray Fiennes is incredible. Anya Taylor-Joy. It's definitely like I can't wait to watch it again.
Wow, so Anya Taylor-Joy is in 2 of your top 5s this year.
Yeah,
could be more.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the most unique plots I've seen. It's extremely entertaining, and there's a lot of social commentary that like I think you can just like definitely the people that I saw it with, like we were talking about and like thinking about for a while.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very good.
Sick.
Very, very, very good.
Well, I'm excited to watch that one.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Top Gun Maverick. Yeah.
That's a lot higher than it is on mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that movie. It's like
it is a good movie.
Like I wanted to see it like almost immediately after, like when I saw it again, or when I saw it, in theaters this summer. I watched the first one maybe like a few months beforehand, like for the first time.
Yeah.
And that was a very cheesy 80s movie. And I thought at point, like every time Top Gun Maverick, I thought they were going to go into that territory. It pulled itself out of it and like made it a really great scene. And
yeah.
The plot of Maverick, basically kind of rekindling his relationship with Goose's kid was so well done. The plot of yes, it's very much Star Wars in a way.
Yes.
But Star Wars is a great plot.
Yeah.
And it was really well done here. Very, very similar to the last movie's ending where, not everything goes to plan, but
yeah.
I won't say too much, but it's really well done action wise and acting wise and story wise.
Yeah. And I think it was really cool to see like actual IMAX film jets being used and Tom Cruise in the jets. And
that was my thing, is that like the action was so much better to me in this movie than the first Top Gun.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they were able to do that they just couldn't do back then.
Right.
But there is things about the first one that are just so iconic.
Sure.
That, but I agree with you. It was really good. Every single time it was like gonna be maybe cheesy, except maybe the beach ball scene.
Even to me that wasn't bad, because it was like a team bonding moment.
No, yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah,
but I mean, we were listening to the soundtrack most of the summer when we would hang out.
Oh yeah, we were. Yeah,
or at least like on the 4th of July.
Yeah,
and I still think that there needs to be on Father's Day. There needs to be that scene in commercials forever, which is, thanks for saving my life. And then he goes, so what my dad would have done.
Yeah. Oh
and
my
then
gosh. Such a good, like action scene moment.
It's so like, you can have my back any days. Hell, whatever is like the hell with that. You can have mine.
Yeah.
So it was a great movie. It's just, I think I know a lot of people like are obsessed with that movie.
So good.
And I really did like it, but it wasn't like, I wasn't dying to like see it again, I guess.
Oh, okay. Like I was, yeah.
I already mentioned
your number 3.
Well, my number 3 is The Northman.
Right. It's okay. So yeah, we talked about that, right? I mean, unless you have any more you want to say about The Northman?
Not really. Okay. Just, really good.
Well, my number 2, and this, it might surprise you that it's not my number 1, but it is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay. So I think our 1s and 2s are reversed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie blew me away.
Yeah.
Everything I wanted from Multiverse of Madness, I got from this movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's the better multiverse movie.
It was so creative in so many different ways with their different universes, and the plot of a mother and daughter and this
and the husband.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, and this woman who didn't want this life that she was in, but like through like this amazing story, like really grew this love again with her own husband. And I think
connects with her daughter.
Yeah, it was one of the most like beautifully written like family stories in a sci-fi way,
and be able to like connect, like reveal herself to her father.
Sure,
that was coming over.
Yeah. I can't believe they got him. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's been in Hollywood for decades. And all those actors.
And
were great.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, she was amazing.
I think that's like
the hot dog finger lady, and just. Oh my gosh.
Just her as the IRS or tax lady, like, and then she starts like breaking shit, like and just going crazy.
That universe where they're like dating and each of them have the hot dog fingers is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And it's just, and she kills it in every single like iteration.
Yeah. I mean, it was just such a unique plot. I'm so glad that it did as well as it did.
Yeah.
Like,
so happy to see the actor who played Short Round again.
Yeah.
I thought he was amazing as Wayne, or I can't remember what his exact name was in the movie. But yeah, I mean, he made me cry a couple times in that movie. Like just his lines, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like you're killing it as an actor,"
Yeah. Yeah. And just everything from like how they access their powers from other like I was like, that is so fucking rad.
It was so cool. Everything was
like,
so well thought out, and
the dudes that gotta like shove the trophies up their asses.
Oh my gosh.
And then like the everything bagel, and then the rocks.
Gosh, oh man, the paper cut one was
that was
rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't wish that on anybody.
No, I mean, so that movie's my number one.
Okay. I don't blame you. I could have put that at number one too.
That was like
I had
one
a
of
really
the first
tough time.
Yeah, that was like one of the first movies we saw this year.
Yeah, it was.
And I was, and our friend Manny, like, it was really unfortunate.
Yeah.
He showed up like
halfway through, or more than halfway through.
More than halfway through, and it was like, sorry, we're not going to be able to explain this to you right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, he has to see it for the full viewing. You can't like be explained what the first part of the movie is,
Yeah, I don't even know if he like saw. I don't know if we've talked to him about.
I don't think he ever fully saw it. Yeah,
that's unfortunate, but it definitely like blew me away.
Absolutely.
This was in a lot of ways, Everything Everywhere All at Once and this movie are kind of tied.
Yeah, I would say the same.
But this one, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is just a little bit higher because it was so unique, and
I respect it. Yeah.
But I've been looking forward to this movie since it was first announced.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with everything about this movie from like the first trailers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the Batman.
Yep.
Which is your number one.
It's my number one. Yep.
This movie is definitely the best Batman story for any Batman movie ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a good superhero movie. It's just a great movie about great detective movie in general.
It's a great detective movie. Great murder mystery.
Paul Dano is terrifying.
Yeah, he's intimidating as hell, even though he's obviously not a superpowered individual.
No.
It just doesn't matter.
Which I don't think there will be any. Really,
I think
it's
going to be a very grounded universe. And
the score is incredible.
Yeah, score was incredible. I thought the city of Gotham was the best it had ever looked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first 10 minutes or so where, basically they're just introducing Gotham and Batman I get chills every single time. It's so well done. It literally puts you in the point of view of like the criminals of Gotham. And
I love him stepping out of the shadows really
so
slowly.
Good.
So good.
Yeah. And
and his suit looks like you're going to get pummeled.
Yeah.
Like that is a brutal.
And it looks like it would protect him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it also looks like it fucking hurts when he hits you.
Oh man. And the car he has, like, amazing.
Arguably maybe my favorite Batmobile.
I think it's my favorite too. Even though it is like way more simple than the other designs, it works. He's a year 2 Batman, and you're not going to need, every single gadget that he has.
I also think like it's hard to pull off like a Michael Keaton, Tim Burton style one.
Sure.
Or
I mean,
like
even
like that long nose.
To me,
like
even
long hood is
a Christian Bale one wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
That was way too like military-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, this movie's just got the perfect mood.
Perfect
It's
mood,
always raining.
All the characters. I mean, every single one was cast right and acted amazingly. I mean, like
Zoe
I loved,
Kravitz,
yeah,
and his relationship with Jim Gordon.
yeah, Jim Gordon was amazing. Probably one of my favorite characters. Same with Colin Farrell's the Penguin. He was fantastic.
God. So good. I can't wait to see the TV show
the Penguin
spun
show
off about that.
That's gonna be so good. But
But yeah, in a year of like mediocre
superhero
movies and content besides Peacemaker,
that might have been,
and maybe Black Panther.
Yeah,
was
I would put Black Panther. It's a good one.
This is definitely like, this is just an amazing movie in general. Just take the Batman like out of it. Yeah, it's just like, that's just the milieu. Like that's just the context of that's just the character. Like it's like this person really could exist, and they treat it like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and they really make him, are like, you're they're like, you're a fucking weirdo. Why are you dressed up as a bat?
And the arc they take him through, where he has to realize that he has to be more than vengeance. You know?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful ending to this beautiful story, and
I'm so excited to see where it goes.
Me too.
This is like how I want, like, it reminds me a lot. I love that it's the Batman. Like it's not Batman, it's the Batman. Like I don't,
right.
I don't know, but like, you know,
I love that in a sense, because it was like whenever, a criminal would be like, it's the Batman, it wasn't cheesy, but it was like, oh, that's an intimidating like thing to say. Yeah.
And I like that, like, it reminds me of, like, I think one of the more underrated animated Batman shows is The Batman. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't.
It's great.
Okay.
It's so good. But it reminds me of that. And I just love the emo-ness of it all. I love the again, the soundtrack is done so well, especially coinciding with Something in the Way. There's just like a lot of musical similarities with it. And then
I mean, Matt Reeves even said that he based some of that character off Kurt Cobain. So
like he would be listening to a lot of Kurt Cobain. And I don't know if I have, like, it's just incredible.
Incredible. Yeah. So that was what we thought of
our best and our worst.
Yes.
Which is how we should show up in all of our relationships. We should acknowledge the bad parts that we have.
Yeah.
And we should show up our best selves. Yeah. And just like this year with what we watch. Oh, you know what? I had a bunch of honorable mentions, but whatever. It is what it is at this point.
Well, we appreciate you watching. This is a little bit of a messy outro, but that's fine. We are going to be on Apple Podcasts eventually, but right now we're on Spotify, Podbean, and YouTube. So if you want to give us a like, comment, or rating on any of those platforms, we would greatly appreciate it. We had a really good time letting you know what we thought of this year's best and worst media, and we hope you enjoyed it too.
Yeah, definitely check out our list if they sound interesting to you. They're all like really good movies for sure. Really good TV shows.
Except our worst of list. Yeah.
Ignore those. Avoid those.
Yeah. If you are even watching those right now, just stop watching because they're not good.
We're letting you know we've watched them.
Yeah.
They're not good. But yeah, follow us. Most of our handles are LastWeekThisWeekPod.
Yep.
Until we'll see you in the new year.
Yeah, thank you for watching this special best of worst of podcast, and we will see you next week for episode 3.
Okay.